It's the Off-Grid Prep Family Podcast.
Good evening.
Hello.
It's episode 26 of the Off-Grid Prep Family Podcast.
You were right. A couple days off, and it is actually hard to get back into it.
It is. I'm like, what do I say again?
Tonight we're talking about security.
And defending your off-grid property.
Defending your home.
Yeah. And I think we've got a big old list here. A lot or all of these items come from our first 300 things to prep. We sprinkle them throughout because in the first 300 things to prep, we encourage you to prep all 4 pillars of preparedness equally.
Yeah.
So that you don't just focus on the fun stuff and forget about first aid and water.
Yeah.
So we'll just go through. Whoa, there was a loud vehicle. We never have loud vehicles.
No, that was weird.
That was odd.
Oh, it's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's the time of the year when people actually have some money here.
Yeah.
There's some fishing and tourism going on.
That's true, yeah.
Interesting. I heard boats like almost all night last night.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
Really loud boats.
Because we're probably 5 kilometers or so from the ocean.
Yeah.
But that bay it's pretty broad, and it's not very mountainous here.
Yeah.
So the sound carries.
Yeah, like you can smell the sea today.
And it took me a minute last night. You're right in the middle of the night. I'm like, what is that?
What is that? It's just a really loud
Just take
boat.
your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
But no, it's a boat.
So you just drive it at the whole time. All night long, driving the boats, trying to crash into each other. Anyways, the joys of off-grid living. You notice that stuff because usually life is so quiet.
It's so quiet.
Why don't we start off? We've got time to do at least 3 or 4 subjects from this list before we get to our first sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first thing that you have to think about for off-grid or even for any property is it is easier to deter than it is to get somebody off your property.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's the best offense is a good defense.
Yeah, so we accidentally created our own deterrents just because...
It was luck. God gave it to us.
It was luck. I mean, what we have is a really super creepy looking driveway.
Yeah,
I'm going to get murdered up there looking driveway. It is. It's terrible.
It's what you call a panhandle lot. And if you could get one, going back in time, even if I had options, I would still get the panhandle lot.
Because there's a house out front. It looks like they own all the land back here. And they just own that 1 acre.
There's a tiny driveway to the side of that house that you can hardly see.
Yeah.
And it looks creepy.
It's super creepy.
Driveway.
We try to maintain it, but a tree will fall on the side. And
the woods is constantly encroaching here.
The woods are constantly encroaching.
And so we have a very unwelcoming, we'll say, looking driveway.
Anytime we get a new delivery, somebody hasn't been here before, we get that phone call. Is this the right road?
Like the kind of, am I about to get murdered phone call?
And they're always nervous.
Yeah.
It's like, you mean just this goat trail?
Really?
Okay.
And it's a nice driveway. Like, you could drive up
it's gorgeous.
with a Civic, but it's
100 feet
not
up.
paved.
Yeah, and 100 feet up, it's incredibly picturesque.
But the first 100 feet by the road, they're not. And there's a slight little jog. So it's like you go in 10 feet, jogs to the left 10 feet, goes in the rest of the way. So you can't see down the driveway.
You can't see what's going on.
Key.
It is unnerving, and we don't think about it.
We have to go into our first sponsor.
Sure.
What's our first sponsor today, dear?
Major Mom's Ground Control.
Oh, we used that again today.
We did. I used 4 jugs of it on our massive yard, like
giant garden, the courtyard, the patios,
and it was actually
easy.
It was the first time today that I used it directly beside food plants.
Yeah,
and I knew it would be fine, but
yeah, the first time you're a little more cautious.
Yeah, and nothing, not even I could spray. It's so specific.
Yeah,
it doesn't spread.
Kills what it touches the leaf.
You got to coat the leaves.
You could even hit a vine as long as you don't hit a leaf.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
We've done that. It's incredible stuff. The bugs are noticeably reduced.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Our insects, I mean, we're surrounded by forest, right?
And
And
all the farmers spray, so all the insects
forest
come to
is
us.
farms, giant farms
Yeah.
full of spray.
But wherever we spray Major Moms, it's...
You can go out, and
You
then
can
you're
go
not
out.
putting bug spray on your body.
Which is a big deal.
It's a huge deal. I'd rather just
And
have
it
it on
is.
the ground.
It's all natural.
Yeah.
And...
It's made out of like herbs and flowers
Yep.
and a bunch of different kinds of organic oils and
Yeah, and it's acid-based, so it's not a weird glyphosate
yeah,
thing.
you don't have to worry about getting on your skin. On the
Yeah.
ingredients or
It
the
basically-
cautions, it says wait until it's dried
Yeah.
before you like roll around in your grass.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it's good stuff.
yeah. And if you go to our site and buy it from our store, that's offgridprepfamily.com, we have a coupon code OGPF. You get $15 off and free shipping in the US and Canada.
Nice.
Pretty epic.
Mm-hmm.
So, unwelcoming driveway.
So yeah, we did get lucky by accidentally. It was just...
Yeah,
The
so
way-
you make it wind a little. That's just the way that
Yeah, there's a quick little S-curve at the beginning. And,
yeah,
and
it makes all the difference
everybody
because
puts on
people
the brakes.
can't just look up
Yeah.
and see what's up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also what I've found lately is that crunchy gravel on
Mm-hmm.
the road and around your house, you hear the tiniest footprint
Oh, you
around your house,
do,
especially at night.
I hadn't
I
thought
will
about that.
immediately wake up, even if it's just like a wolf outside or something. I'm just like, oh, and I'm
Yeah,
like
'cause that
immediately.
crunch. And you can't walk on it with them
No.
without making noise.
Yeah.
Huh.
Another thing, yard lights, motion detector lights.
Yeah,
There's lots of battery ones now. You
a
can
lot
get
of people
even.
have those.
Yeah, people don't want to be seen. If they're doing something sketchy, they
Mm-hmm.
don't want a light to be on.
Yeah. Signage is good because at least you're kind of protected from a legal standpoint. If
That's true.
crap
The
goes
no
down.
trespassing sign. We have some pretty
Like-
funny no trespassing signs in our store. If you want to go
yeah,
check
there are
them
some
out.
good ones.
You know, post 2 or 3, and then also do the purple stripe of paint around the perimeter
Right.
of your property.
Which I don't think they do here in Canada, but,
But it's still a recognized thing. Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't live somewhere with a purple paint law,
Mhm.
it's generally
understood by
understood
hunters and stuff.
that if you see purple paint, you
Yeah.
don't hunt there, you don't cross that property line. And so if someone has,
Yeah.
you know more about their intentions.
Mm-hmm.
You can get alarm signs, even if you don't have an alarm. We wouldn't recommend a monitor alarm for off-grid because you're taking care of your own stuff.
Yeah.
And you're not connected to anything, but you can still get the signs.
Yeah, you can make your own system if you've got some electronics know-how.
Yeah, and there's so many good options on Amazon. We have a bunch of
Oh,
them
it's
in
endless.
our store. The ones that we use are in the store.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that don't use a ton of power and
Yeah.
go long distances and things.
Mm-hmm.
After you've got some motion detectors, including like, you know, around the edges of your property and the problem spots, you should probably start thinking about cameras.
Yeah, and motion detectors and cameras, when you're off the grid and you want to make your own system that's not tied to the internet,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to learn how to use automation.
Yeah.
Now you want to stay away from the major brands
But
because
we've used
that's
some
all
that are, like-
app-based,
yeah.
and if the internet goes down,
No,
you can't.
you don't want Nest
No.
or
None of that
Ring
stuff.
or Blink.
They're using Nest now to turn people's air conditioning off
Yeah.
during the heat wave to save power.
Yeah.
So you
That's
don't want
not
any of
what
that
we're
crap.
about. Yeah.
I use IP cameras, which
Mm-hmm.
stands for Internet Protocol, and
So is that what you should search for? Or you should just go to our website and get
just
the
go to our
ones we have?
website and
Because
get the
we
stuff.
have used a couple different kinds, and these are the ones that we stuck
It's
with.
yeah. The reason I stuck with the cameras that I did, and there are many different sub brands, strange,
Mm-hmm.
off brands, is because they're kind of open sourced, so they're not tied to any software or app platform.
Okay.
And there's a term in the security industry that's been around for years and years called ONVIF. It's ONVIF. And ONVIF is basically, I know I should know what it stands for, but I don't. I know it's an acronym. I didn't
And
do
it
the research.
means-
What it is, it's an open source platform. It's basically a software interaction. Like, they all use the same software. So any security company can go and work on an ONVIF camera.
Oh, so like
It has nothing to do with
every
the internet.
security company
This
doesn't
was-
need to have their own app.
Exactly. This was pre-internet, and
Okay.
it's still out there. So you want to get an ONVIF camera that runs on IP Internet Protocol, which they do. They will. They're all updated now. And you can choose between a Wi-Fi camera or a hardwired Ethernet camera that uses that Cat5 cable.
Right.
And I went with hardwired because I don't like wireless signals. I don't trust them. I think they're unhealthy.
Yeah.
And
we just laid that wire all the way down our driveway.
yeah, well, we did it first.
Yeah.
And squirrels got at it.
Right.
So eventually what I did, and this is probably one of the most important parts of our security system, is I decided I wanted to know what was going on at the cottage, which is halfway down between our house and the road.
It's like a half kilometer.
And I wanted to know what was going on at the gate, which is almost all the way down. Mm-hmm. And so I did a bunch of research, and I found a whole slurry of they're called Wi-Fi antennas, but it's not the Wi-Fi in your house. It's a different kind. It's basically a point-to-point thing. Mm-hmm. So you put one antenna at one end at the house, and a receiver antenna, but they're the same antenna. Right. So you can switch them around.
So they talk back and forth to each other.
And so what I did is our land is long, north to south, and so I put one set of antennas from the house to the cottage, and a second set from the cottage to the gate, and they all repeat through each other. And I can offer some lessons on this, but at the end of the day,
if you have trouble, you can message us. Only on
you
Instagram,
can message us.
I'm not on Facebook.
I built, from what I can tell, is somewhere around a $20,000 system for about $1,000, and it works brilliantly. It is extremely complex, but it's bulletproof. Like I haven't touched it in a year. Once I got all the bugs worked out, got it working. It's incredible, and it allows me to see a motion alarm wherever I want it. I can put in a sensor and it ties in, and it's all.
You can watch a car drive up the driveway. You can get a little bleep as it moves. You can get pictures of it as it's coming. You can.
And I couldn't find anything that did this without an app or online software like this.
We've even got like a little screen in our kitchen that goes bleep, and like the little motion thing pops up. Everybody knows. You can see the gates closed. You can turn on the camera. Yeah,
and I really that was probably the worst part. Was not only did I not want to buy mainstream stuff because it's super tracky. I couldn't find what I wanted.
Right.
And so I had to really source the components. Everything I found was on Amazon, all Prime.
It's all in our store.
It's all in our store.
But if you need help putting it together, we can help you with that. Yeah. So we've got our cameras up. At least 4. Get all 4 directions. But then if you have, like we do, long land, start thinking about putting them out farther and farther down the way.
And as much as you can. And, of course, this is all off-grid stuff. So each time you've got a cluster of electronics, you need to have a battery and a solar panel and a charge controller. You need to think about...
Just a little one.
Just tiny, as small as you can get away with. But there's many different parts of these systems that you have to consider, especially when you're off the grid or you want to be off the grid and you don't want to be running wires and power everywhere. That gets complicated and expensive.
Yeah, if you want to see what one of our little boxes looks like, let us know and we'll put it on a reel or something.
Yeah. So
once we've got our cameras up and running, this is sort of in order of what I would consider importance and ease. Yeah. So my next recommendation would be that you get some really good quality super bright flashlights and headlamps.
Yeah, those are great at night, especially when something's making the chickens cluck in the middle of the night.
And you can't, if you're a person, as soon as someone gets that flashlight in your eyes, they are blind and you are not. Yeah, it gives you the advantage.
You want a really high lumen, Lumen, a high lumen LED headlamp.
And we have those on our recommended store too. You want to think about landscaping. At the front, we make it unwelcoming and inhospitable.
At the sides, when we clear the forest, we push all of the tree tops, the stuff we're not going to burn, and we make piles.
Yeah, like fences.
So that essentially they're berms. Yeah. And when I cleared all the stumps out with the skid steer later on, I made those berms even bigger.
Too,
and any gaps in the land, and frankly, I wasn't even thinking about security at this point. I was just thinking about privacy and wind too. And what we did with any gaps is we build fences with vertical rough cut lumber, it looks like barn board. There's bark on a lot of pieces.
You get them as scraps from anyone who mills lumber.
Yeah.
We pay $100 a load.
Which
delivered.
That's like a cord of firewood. Yeah. It's about half of what you pay for a cord of actual firewood. Yeah. But this stuff is really rough. So what you do is when you mount it vertically, just with screws and lag bolts, It ends up looking a lot like trees in the forest.
It does look like trees.
Shockingly.
And as soon as it turns gray in that first rain or
You
two...
can't see that fence.
No.
But if you come upon that fence, you immediately realize, I might get murdered here.
Yeah. It does not look
and it's not.
welcoming.
We're really nice, but...
We don't want to exude an aura of welcoming to people coming in at places that are not normal places.
And we kind of grew into that. We really didn't intend to start out like that, but it was
the first person who comes onto your land from a weird entrance, and you start thinking, I don't want to encourage that.
No, because it's never good.
No, you're not going to come.
Nobody's bringing.
Unannounced.
That was one thing that bothered me out here. It's supposed to be really hospitable, and we lived here before.
Yeah.
In this area, this region. Mm-hmm. Nobody came with a welcome basket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, times have changed, even in the last decade.
Yeah, it's not cute and old-timey anymore.
No.
If someone's not texting you, leaving a cute note at your mailbox.
Yeah.
Like, if they're just going to plow up your driveway and open your gate and not think anything of it, they're not there with good intentions.
Never. And
That's not
it's disheartening. You should be
encouraging.
But, yeah.
We need to move on to our second sponsor of the day. I feel like that's a good place to take a break anyways. It's the Off-Grid Prep Family line of planners.
You guys have put a lot of work into this.
I think there's 8 of them now.
Mm-hmm.
We try and do all different varieties. So there are some for people who have dairy animals and dairy chores to think about every day, and there are some who do not. There are some for people who homeschool and some for people who do home businesses.
Nice.
And you can find them all on Amazon, or you can print your own for roughly half the price if you go to our store.
But then that's a lot of ink.
It's 500 pages, and it will organize your daily layouts, right? As far as like your chores, keeping your house clean. This is how I keep our house clean with 7 kids, and I don't have any help because I just do that little bit every day. It tells me to wipe the top of my fridge, so I wipe the top of my fridge, and then it looks like Mary Maids has been there because I just keep up with it, right? It has goals and pantry stuff, gardening things. It has pages to track your harvests every day, monthly budgets, notes for substitute teachers or notes for farm sitters, pantry inventories, freeze-dried food inventories, seasonal clothing inventories. It has a garden planner, a gardening plan for fall, livestock planner, stock records, laying bird logs, meat bird logs, and of course your emergency bug-out backpack sheets, your evacuation checklist, the first 300 things to prep, and your family emergency plan. And it's all in this gigantic 1.25 thick planner.
Book, I'd say it's 1.5 inches.
And you can get it from Amazon. And today it's $15.99. I just put it on I make 50 cents. So if you buy it on Amazon, I make 50 cents. And if you want to print it yourself, I make a little more, but that's more work for you. So it's your call. Thank you, Off-Grid Prep Family, and my teenage daughter who likes to upload.
She does. She loves it.
Yeah, she's got a system now. Moving on. We talked about landscaping. Okay, a motion detector at the end of your driveway. That's in addition to the cameras.
Yeah, but it is all part of the same system.
It's all part of the same system.
Yeah.
No trespassing signs. We talked about get some serious ones and some funny ones.
I want to say one more thing about the cameras and the motion detectors and the system. So I mentioned that they're IP cameras. They run on internet protocol. I prefer the hardwired cameras because you're never worrying about whether or not the signal's getting through. All of this stuff is what's called Ethernet based.
Okay.
Okay, that's those Cat5 snap-in plastic clear cable ends.
With cheap cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's important about it, the system I use is it's Ethernet, but it is not what I say internet based. If our internet goes down, my cameras still work.
Yeah.
I can still use the app on my phone, which is an open sourced ONVIF app.
Right.
It's called IP camera.
Yeah.
There are I've tried a few different apps, and some of them work in different ways, but I like this one for a number of reasons. But anyway, I'm not going to promote that app.
Yeah, it's been like 6 years, and we've tried a bunch of them.
Yeah.
This is the one.
This is the one that I like.
Yeah.
It's very small source. Like, there's not a lot of downloads. But the important part, as I said, is when I shut the internet off, which I just do with a switch at night.
Yeah.
My cameras still work with my phone. Like, it doesn't bounce to a cell tower and back.
Oh, okay.
And I only discovered that by accident because I'm sure
Yeah.
there are many entities out there making sure that that's not a thing.
There are times when you hear something and you want to roll over and click on your phone and look at all the cameras on your property and see what's going on.
And if your cell service is down, as it went down here in Canada, all of Canada lost cell service just last week or last month.
Yeah.
My cameras and motion, everything still works.
That's the time when you need it.
Yeah, so if you're really interested, message us and we can walk you through it, because we only found a lot of this stuff by accident.
Yeah, trial and error over many years.
Yeah.
Next, Amazon boxes. Number 1, we have a shed at the end of our driveway where Amazon can drop stuff. Sometimes they don't. Those are the super sketchy drivers that like to drive up our super long driveway and see what's going on. That took us a minute.
These guys who are not from this country,
they're fascinated.
And they want to rob it.
Buy a little homestead.
They want
to
see
rob
everything
you have,
and
they're
steal
so
it. It was not endearing.
No.
Like at first,
they ogle your teenage daughters.
My Canadian welcoming instincts were like, oh, these guys are just interested.
No,
and
they
then
want to see what you've got.
5 minutes later, I was like, these guys want to rob me.
Yeah.
And that's not racist.
No.
Like, ew.
Don't open your home to opportunistic people.
If it's not your family, they're going to try and rob you.
Probably.
That's the world we live in, and we've learned this the hard way many times.
The only time that happens, people are only nice right now because they have it easy.
Well, people are nice because they have to be. That's why people are nice.
And because there will be reparations if they're not. But the second that it's barely indicative that they might not be punished, or that they could get away with it, or that they don't have food. That
happened during those Vancouver floods last year.
It's amazing how nasty people get.
It was a Mountie was commenting on he had never seen anything like it. It was not even hours.
Yeah, that's how long it takes.
These people were just stealing gas and smashing windows and
yelling at each other and threatening each other.
It wasn't even. It was like one small. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, because that is the nature of man.
I guess everybody's a bunch of gosh darn spoiled brats.
It's a broken world.
Yeah.
And so we have a shed at the end of our driveway with very clear writing in front of the gate.
Yeah.
That's where packages go.
Yeah.
It's not visible from the road, but it's there.
It is.
And if they don't leave it there, we call Amazon and they refund us.
Yep.
Or it comes the next day and we probably get a refund.
That happens less and less. They're starting to learn.
Yeah, they'll learn. Also, Amazon boxes, don't be leaving your Amazon boxes around. If you live somewhere where people can see your front porch, don't be leaving that big box with your new TV in your front porch.
Yeah, you get the message from Amazon, go get it. Now, we've never had anything stolen.
No, but if
we live in the land of nobody cares.
Yeah, if you lived somewhere where people might be opportunistic. We
lived in a very wealthy part of Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Before we moved here, we lived in a very wealthy neighborhood.
And we had porch pirates.
There was this old lady who drove a $125,000 Mercedes. No, it was a Lexus. It was a Lexus.
The nicest Lexus I have ever seen.
Not the nicest.
Okay, a very nice Lexus.
It was extremely, I don't know if it was a GS or whatever, but it was a nice Lexus.
GSL.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, this lady collected cans.
Every Thursday morning.
She would come and steal our recycling.
She'd go through our trash, take anything she thought was worthwhile, and she would steal the recycling.
Yeah. This is the world we live in.
It's a broken world.
It's so broken.
And if you expect the best of people, you will be disappointed.
Yeah.
After Amazon boxes, the easiest, cheapest, quickest, easy to use, don't need to train thing, pepper spray. And if you live in Canada, just call it bear spray, and then you've got the big can.
Yeah.
We have them everywhere. You gotta have them. You point it, you shoot it. Any kid over 10 can use it. Probably over 5.
That segues into the next point. Is pick a knife you like and get used to carrying it.
Yeah. Put it in your pocket.
All of our teenagers have a pocket knife.
Yeah, like over the age of 10, they've got a knife on them.
It's not. They look forward to it. It's not like a ritual. We just kind of gradually.
Eventually, they need it for like farm chores. They're like cutting hay string, or they're constantly needing it.
Had to use his knife to clean out screw heads on the gray water filter.
They use it all day long.
All day.
But if you don't have it, or you're not used to carrying it, you won't
Yeah.
have it with you when you need it.
Yeah.
And so you need to pick one that you really like. We like the Leatherman Skeletool, but there's lots of cheaper
There's
ones
lots
that you can get.
Yeah, I got
that are
some
just
on
fine.
sale knives at Canadian Tire the other day. They were
$9.99.
$10.
It was regular $39.99.
I thought it was more than that. But
It
anyway,
was insane.
great little flip out knife, single
Yeah.
blade, not a multi-tool.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
Smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detector.
Monoxide, yeah.
He put CO2, but
Oh, he
it's
did
CO.
put CO2.
Yeah.
That's true.
We have teenagers
Smoke
creating
and
lists for
carbon
us.
monoxide detectors really important if
Don't
you're burning
get the
wood.
dual.
No.
The duals
Yeah.
are notoriously faulty, and you'll just end up paying twice.
Yeah.
Just get smoke detectors and carbon monoxide
Yeah.
detectors.
Have we not talked about our gate yet? I feel like I've mentioned it.
Almost. I
So,
guess
yeah,
at
we've
this
talked
point,
about the
if you do
cameras.
not yet have one, put a gate
You need a gate.
on your driveway. And it's ouchy, and it sucks to put in those posts. You just gotta do it.
Yeah. Now, we had gate on posts for a little bit, but eventually I moved my gate onto trees.
It's on trees. Giant
I
trees.
happen to have about a third of the way up our driveway, which is way far in. This is another good point. When you're going to put a gate, don't put it at the road.
No.
Because most people see that gate and think, hey, what's back there?
Yeah. There
Now,
must be something worth protecting.
it's a
That's
psychological
interesting.
thing. And we, once again, this is one of the things we learned by accident.
Yeah.
We put our gate back where there's two big evergreens that
Yeah.
were almost exactly 12 feet apart.
Yeah, it's like 500 feet in. You can't see it from the road.
You can't see it from the road. So first of all, the driveway is creepy.
Yeah.
Only because I don't trim the weeds down there. It's a lot. Second, you get in that driveway, like if you want to come up there for nefarious reasons or you're just curious, which does
People
never actually
are-
happen. Maybe at the
People
beginning.
are, but not as often anymore.
No, exactly. You get up there and then you hit a gate. You're like, oh,
Are they growing drugs? Like, you
Yes.
think they're doing something bad?
sketchy. And then you start panicking.
Yeah.
You're like, how am I going to get out of here? And the moment you start panicking, you forget what you were doing there.
Yeah.
So that's another, on our part, unintentional deterrent.
But
that
it works.
It works brilliantly.
Yeah.
So
Gate.
you need a gate. They're
And
cheap. You can get a gate for a couple of $100
Go to a farm supply
at any
store
farm
for your
supply
gate.
store. Yeah.
Yeah, not a fancy Home Depot gate.
No.
Farm supply gate.
No, I got a galvanized gate. It weighs about maybe 50 or 60 pounds. It's
Yeah.
fairly lightweight.
But you put blocks, or like the little thing that goes up and down to lock it.
Oh,
like-
that's another whole part of my automation.
But you
From-
it can't be able to just be pushed.
No, you can just get these gates usually from farm supply stores
They
come with
come with that
chains
little
welded on.
Okay.
So you just have to get a good padlock
Okay.
and just wrap it around the post or the tree.
Okay. After you have your gate,
Mm-hmm.
my next suggestion would be put some long screws in your door hinges and your deadbolts. Put some metal around your door frames. Like,
Yep.
just bulk that up, because the stuff they come with is frankly
Modern. So I don't know how old people are listening to the podcast, but we remember as a kid, whenever you found an antique door handle, it was so heavy duty.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the weirdest part for me, is it was like an 8th turn. Remember? You just turn it like 5 degrees.
Yeah, and it
and
would
it
open.
opens the door. And it's
Yeah.
this heavy brass plunger. Doors now, I've kind of surmised, but I know that some of you could corroborate this.
Mm-hmm.
They're designed to be easy for the cops to break
to
down
break down.
and pick and destroy.
Yeah.
So they're garbage, extremely complicated, and really easy to destroy.
It's
Even the
super
deadbolts,
made, yeah.
it's just garbage, and not through any reason of making it easier or better for the consumer. It's
Yeah.
so that the cops can break your door down
Yeah.
easier.
Spoken as people who have had, while we're not home,
Oh, at the flood, yeah.
doors drilled out.
Yeah, doors
and
drilled out.
Doors broken
So that's
down.
what it's all part of that system. So you want to amend your doors
Yes.
as best you can.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned stuff like drop bars. You know, like the big
Yeah.
2x4 that
Yeah.
slides
We
into
have
a couple
that
of.
on our gates.
We do.
You're not getting
yeah.
through that.
Old-fashioned stuff that it would
Yeah.
take a car to get through.
Yeah. At that point, you're secured and you've deterred.
Yeah.
At that point, anyone who's coming is unannounced is probably not there for good reasons.
Yeah.
We would like you to choose your self-defense tool of choice.
Yeah.
And we're in Canada, so that's as far as we're going to go with that.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about any kind of self-defense tools.
Canceled.
CRTC'd.
But we would also advise you to stock up on all your accessories for said self-defense tool of choice. Mm-hmm. Next, you're going to go...
Extra clothespins. Don't forget the clothespins.
Oh, all the extra clothespins. Yeah. Sometimes you can reload your clothespins if they break.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Reuse. Write a detailed plan for evacuation from your home, work, or school. That is in the back of every single one of our planners. It's also in that $2 download in our emergency plan. Next, spare accessories for self-defense tool of choice, including safety glasses, ear protection, a bag or whatever you might need, and training.
Yeah.
Because without training, you might as well just not.
And we talked about this next one earlier, pocket knives for everyone who can handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyday carry, just make everyone get in the habit of an EDC.
Yeah.
If you're not constantly pulling knives and weird things out of pockets as you do laundry, you're probably not doing it right. An IFAC, that's an improved first aid kit.
Yeah.
Tactical, trauma kit, gunshot, tourniquet.
Yeah. That's
what you need at this point.
Yeah.
Because the fewer people you have to call into your property, the more secure it is.
Yeah, the EMS is not coming. They're not coming to help you. They're coming to figure out how to tear your family apart.
Yeah, they're gonna send CPS or something. Then we're gonna encourage you to install some sort of communication system and CCTV if you do not have it yet at all gates.
Yeah, which we've talked about.
We've covered that, but like the ability to see, hear, maybe even talk to people at different points. Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to get this from any off-the-shelf systems.
No, you've got to build it yourself.
Yeah.
We've got the components on our site. Then you're going to keep remembering to schedule time for target practice and self-defense training.
When you're using your bows and arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your...
slingshots.
Freedom sticks.
Mm-hmm. Freedom sticks. Bow staff.
I got bow staff skills. I got nunchuck skills. Add a pin pad and remote openers on your gates at this point. We have options for that. We have it. It's super handy. Then you're going to start thinking about communications. Because if you can't communicate with people around your property, it's useless, frankly.
Yeah. Now, I just realized we're way over time, so
we'll just wrap up this list. We'll talk about communications tomorrow.
Yeah. So the communications, these Baofeng UV5R handheld ham radios.
They're the best. They're the cheapest. They're on Amazon.
Yeah,
we did a 6-pack.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's important because everybody has to have one. You can communicate on an open channel.
2 of them doesn't do you a whole lot of good unless there's only 2 of you.
We're going to come up with radio call signs. Study for a ham radio license.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. And take your ham radio license so that you can operate it without getting in trouble. And you want to teach the kids how to use it and also teach the kids how to use Morse code.
Yeah.
And they pick it up so fast.
And they can listen to a ham radio without having their license.
Yeah.
You can listen.
You just can't speak on it.
Next, okay, I got 3 things left. Mm-hmm. Cut plywood for every window you have. Paint it black and store it somewhere that's easy to access with screws. Because if a hurricane's coming or something weird's happening or your window gets blown out, you've just got it there. And it's painted black and you've got the screws you need to make it happen. Mm-hmm. Next, collect items for bartering or trading and vacuum seal them in tiny amounts. Think about local vices, right?
Vices?
Booze, cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
Junk food.
Uh-huh.
Baby stuff, things that people would be desperate for. Mm-hmm. Comfort items of any kind.
Right, because the worst people are going to come for those. Yeah.
Medications. Like we always keep some insulin. We're not diabetic. We still got insulin. Lighters, candles, dollar store, preppy type stuff. Because it's easier to just send somebody away with a tiny amount of stuff than to create an altercation.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And that's all we're going to say today. Tomorrow we will talk about radios, ham radios, CB radios, call signs, codes, etc. But for today, I guess we'll just leave you with our quote of the day. Who's this?
This is John Steinbeck, and this is pretty apt for what's going on now. An unbelieved truth can hurt a man much more than a lie. It takes great courage to back truth unacceptable to our times. There's punishment for it, and it's usually crucifixion.
John Steinbeck.
Yeah.
He's the best. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, if you could share it on social media or with a friend, that helps us out so much. We can tell when people are sharing the podcast versus when they aren't, and it's a big boost to us.
It's a big help.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We will talk to you tomorrow about radios. Have a nice Saturday, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.